In the valley of Elah, tension weighed heavy in the air. Two armies stood on opposite hillsides, facing one another with fear and fury. On one side, the Philistines, seasoned warriors, armored and confident. On the other, the Israelites, hesitant, trembling, yet holding on to faith in the God who had delivered them before. Between them stretched the valley floor, a stage where destiny would be written, and then he appeared. Goliath of Gath, a giant of men towering over 9 feet tall, his bronze armor gleaming under the sun. His spear was thick as a weaver's beam, the iron tip alone weighing more than many could lift. His voice thundered across the valley as he mocked Israel. "Choose a man to fight me. If he kills me, we will be your servants. But if I prevail, you will serve us." For 40 days, morning and evening, Goliath repeated his taunts, and for 40 days, Saul and all Israel stood paralyzed by fear. Into this scene entered a young shepherd boy named David. He was not a soldier. He wore no armor. His hands were calloused from tending sheep, his strength tested not by war but by defending his flock from lions and bears. Sent by his father Jesse to bring food to his brothers, David arrived at the camp and heard the giant's insults. Unlike the soldiers, David's heart burned with indignation. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine," he cried, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers mocked his courage, even his older brother scolded him, accusing him of pride. Yet David's conviction was not arrogance, it was faith. Word reached King Saul and David was summoned. Standing before the weary monarch, the shepherd declared, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul, incredulous, replied, "You are only a boy, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David recounted how the Lord had delivered him from the paw of the lion and the bear. With the same confidence, he proclaimed, "The Lord who rescued me then will rescue me now." Saul relented and offered his armor, but the weight was cumbersome. David tried to walk, but soon removed it, saying, "I cannot go in these, for I am not used to them." Instead, he chose what he knew: his shepherd's staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones gathered from the brook. As David approached the battlefield, Goliath laughed with scorn. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" he thundered, cursing David by his gods. Yet David did not shrink. With eyes lifted in faith, he declared, "You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. It is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's." The giant advanced, his massive steps shaking the earth, but David ran quickly toward the battle line. He reached into his pouch, drew out a stone, and placed it in his sling. With precision born of countless hours in the fields, he swung it, released, and the stone flew straight and true. It struck Goliath on the forehead, sinking deep. The giant stumbled, then collapsed face first to the ground. Silence gripped the valley, broken only by the cry of triumph as David stood over the fallen foe. With Goliath's own sword, he cut off the giant's head, and the Philistines fled in terror. David's victory was not about his skill, his strength, or his courage alone. It was about trust in the God who delivers. Where others saw an impossible enemy, David saw an opportunity for God's power to be revealed. Where others trembled in fear, he stood in faith. This story is not just ancient history. It is a reminder for every generation that giants still rise. Giants of fear, doubt, injustice, poverty, sickness, and despair. They stand before us, mocking our faith, paralyzing our will. Yet the lesson of David resounds. Victory does not come from human might or earthly weapons, but from reliance on the living God. When you face your own Goliath, remember the shepherd boy who refused to bow to fear. Remember the sling and the stone, the courage born of faith, and the God who fights for those who trust him. Let the world see, through your battles and your victories, that there is indeed a God who delivers, a God who saves, a God who turns the small and ordinary into vessels of extraordinary triumph. The Valley of Elah may be miles away and thousands of years behind us, but its truth is alive today. The battle belongs to the Lord. And if this story has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to Biblical Facts for more powerful stories of faith, courage, and hope. Together, let's keep the word alive.